All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome to another YouTube stream. This is my third now attempt to learn how to do this in a way that's meaningful. I am Sage Raider. Welcome to Breath Church, everybody. This is the raw and real deal. This is where we get down and we bring life and breath and art into one space, place, and time. And we rinse out whatever we've got to rinse out. I find it especially important for me to be here at this time because I recently lost my brother. It was quite sudden, quite accidental. But having my brother gone now, my little brother, the brother with whom I did life as a child, has put into me a certain felt sense of desire to share myself with you in a way that I've never really shared it. I started to share myself with people as a poet, as an artist, and as a creator. Early on in my career, I said some things that were very unpopular. And back then, everybody called me a conspiracy theorist and crazy for telling everybody, guys, my computers are turning themselves on and off. I've moved to multiple addresses and bought multiple computers. And my computers turned themselves on and off. That was crazy back then. No one believed it until they would come over to dinner. Sure enough, they would hear the Mac in the corner, boot itself up out of nowhere. So because of this book, Sex, Drugs, and Sunday School, and the things that I said in it as an artist, this book was on the front table of Barnes & Noble in Union Square in New York City. It was in Borders Bookstore in the UK. It was in the Donna Karan flagship store on Fifth Avenue. And it was in the window on Forbidden Planet in New York City on Broadway, the comic store of all comic stores. I took it everywhere. I put it everywhere. And it was a little ahead of its time. It was too edgy. You could see there's like full color, vellum, Mylar. It's a comic book. I put my life and my art and everything I had into a book. I found a couple of people to help me. This amazing artist, Reuben Watson, Rue. He was the guy I met when I was living in England. I was just a kid. I met him in a place called Bognor Regis, England. And I wrote the poetry. He did a lot of the artwork. And me and a buddy, Dolomite, who was introduced to me by my brother, went ahead and created this book. And just as I thought this was going to be the thing that launched my career and put me out to the world, I had a tour planned. I mean, I went to the Edinburgh Festival with a show called Son of a Bush. I went out there to tell the world in poetry and in music and in song what it was like to be me, what I'd felt, what I'd seen, what I'd heard, what I'd done, what it looked like to me, and what I wanted to give to the world around me as a result of it. And the response was to be shut down. All the books were sent back. I have them all. They were listed as out of print. True story. And so my dream became this sort of nightmare. I spoke truth as I saw it to the universe. I put it in a book, and suddenly the book was sent back. And everything that I'd worked for came crumbling down around me, and everybody thought I was crazy. But when your computers turn themselves on and off and all of your electronics and weird shit starts happening, decades ago this was happening. When that starts to happen, you suddenly want to clam up and not tell anybody anything anymore. And so I got very, very small. I got very scared. And this book, all of them, I still have them. They're around. Forgive the gremlins. I'm working on some new hardware stuff. I've troubleshot the studio. It's my hardware. I think my Scarlett is fried. Those of you audio heads are like, why are you even using a Scarlett? I'm nuts. So I started as an artist. I created a book. I put it out there. My art got taken off the shelves. I got spanked for saying stuff you're not supposed to say. Now everybody's saying it. It's not even radical anymore. Back in 2003, when this book got released, it was the most radical, disturbing, upsetting thing anybody could say. And I paid a heavy price. So I have spoken truth to power. I have created with abandon. I have been more authentic than you could possibly conjure in a lifetime, just being. And I have had it reflected back to me that it is unpopular, it is uncool, it is dangerous, it is not appropriate, it is not welcome in the public discourse. And I defy all of those as untrue. And so here I am as a middle aged man, having just lost his brother, with a song to sing, with a heart to give, with a little product that I created. Product. It's some art, it's some breath, it's a community. And it's a product because you can consume it. It's a community because you can join it. It's an art form and an exhibition because you can sit and allow it to wash over you. But I've been an artist my whole life and I've been repressed. I am, for the record, saying it now, all of my stuff was taken off the shelves and I was told in no uncertain language, shut the fuck up. And so I complied. Not anymore. Now, in the meantime, while I was busy complying and not being particularly controversial or large or public, I also wrote and recorded a record with a guy named Stacka. Ready, Fire, Aim is the name of the band. Ready, Fire, Aim. The album title, aptly and prophetically called This Changes Nothing, is available wherever music is streamed. It was an 80s throwback pop electro band. It was called the Electronic Music Album of the Year in 2008. I was hailed as the new Nine Inch Nails, Trent Reznor. The album was everywhere. And as it was released, yours truly made an incredibly poor life decision. Just as the album was out, I was getting texts. Hey, man, I'm in the Beverly Center in LA and I hear you're single. There was a drink named after me in downtown Manhattan. They were playing my music in all of the hair salons, the bars, the nightclubs. I could have been there celebrating my art. And what did I do? I went to go do some shady work, helping people do what we now know to be social media in its most disgusting, filthy, repugnant form. And I wanted to go be a part of that because my heart was broken. The art hadn't worked out. And that's another long story we'll get into. When the heart is broken, the agreements that we make with light and dark will be the things that define us. So when your heart's broken, be very careful what you choose. I chose to throw my art to the wind and go work for the very side that had repressed me. To go work for the very people who had made my life miserable, turned my computers on and off. And I said, you know what? If they're the only ones listening to me, if they're the only ones who will believe me, if they are the only ones who actually understand what I have to say, maybe I should go work for them and stop trying to say things to people who don't want to hear it, hate me for it, won't be interested in it, don't follow up on it, and simply move on and nobody listens. Well, here we are, 21 years later. And the words in this book are truer today than they were when I wrote them in the late 90s. And so I'm a poet. I started slamming at the Nuyorican. First gig, Friday night, open slam, Nuyorican. Boom. Invited to then take the stage and be in the slam. Slammed my way to the Grand Slam. And I was in the semifinals with the Grand Slam at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe as a white guy with giant platinum blonde hair. I looked like a Q-tip that had exploded. And the Nuyorican Poets Cafe was the most electric place on the planet. It was the coolest place in the world where the voices of the marginalized and the oppressed had a place to speak. And I was invited to stay because I hated straight white Christian America more than all of them combined because of what the so-called Christians had done to me. We'll get into that too, because it's called Breath Church. We're going to talk about breath and church. So I was angry at the church. I ditched anything like faith, and I went to a place where I could yell and scream about it as creatively and interestingly as possible. And I was angrier at my own people group than anybody else. And they were like, oh, fuck it, he can stay. So I cut my teeth on the raucous exchange of the Lower East Side, 3rd Street and Avenue C, Nuyorican Poets Cafe. To this day, Bob Holman and Keith Roach, wherever you are, Bob Holman, if you're still alive, I love you. Bob Holman and Keith Roach gave me my first shot. Bob Holman ended up going and opening the Bowery Poetry Club later, and we did the launch for this book, Sex, Drugs, and Sunday School, at the Bowery Poetry Club. We sold the place out. The living room sold the place out. Standing room only outside the living room on the Lower East Side. People staring with their faces pressed in through the windows. Crazy amounts of shows and community. Wild shit. I was there when, like, the same place Nora Jones got big out of. Like, I played all those little clubs. I was there as it happened, and it was amazing, and it was beautiful, and I don't care that I didn't optimize or become something super famous. I was there. I did it. I was in the room and it happened and it mattered to me and it mattered to everyone around us. My former wife's friends all came. They brought friends. They brought friends. And before you knew it, there was this giant traveling circus of poetry and insanity and fun and creativity and art happening on the Lower East Side of the 1990s New York City scene. I was at the center of it. I mean, it was hysterical. Everything I did was fun or funny, and we accumulated media moguls and directors and writers and producers, and there was just this posse of incredible humans, many of whom have gone on to be quite famous and successful in their own right. And so my love of art and my passion of creativity has gotten me into trouble. It's taken me on a long and winding road. And I've changed my opinions and I've become more circumspect in my old age. Old age. I say middle age. It's not really old at all. I'm young as fuck. But I've been through a lot. And so my body sometimes treats me like I'm 100. But I've managed to deal with pain, managed to deal with discomfort, managed to deal with circumstances that you can't even imagine. I mean, we can imagine some pretty crazy stuff, but there's things I can't talk about that I'm just not going to bring up. But it's crazy and it's there and it happened and I've let it pass through me. I've loved and forgiven and I've taken the opportunity to become who I am. I love who I am. I love my art. I love breath. I love creativity. I love people who are in pain. And that's most of us these days. So that's my history as an artist. Those are some bona fides. I'm going to get into like real detailed stories. I've got friends now because my brother died, people that I've lost touch with for decades, who are going to come on and help me tell the stories of thriving in the 1990s in New York. I mean, like crazy, 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 crazy fun. I worked a door at the Tunnel, 50,000 square feet, the biggest nightclub in New York City, for the most legendary nightclub promoter, and I would say nightlife creative in the history of nightlife. I opened New York City's hottest restaurant as a reservations manager. That's true. I actually worked as a reservations manager at Pastis when the first time it opened in the meatpacking district. And I had to decide who was going to get table 76, Calvin Klein or Hillary Clinton or Madonna. I mean, it was a wild time. I've been in the middle. I've served food to the most wealthy, powerful people on the planet, and that prepared me to serve them in their breath. As a result of all this creativity, none of which has anything to do with medicine, I have had the opportunity to teach and lecture doctors, human optimization specialists, and performance icons, really, some of them, on breath. And I'm pioneering something new that hasn't been done in breath ever before with the people that have actually invented the tools to measure it and are on the bleeding edge of soft science, the mind sciences. So if you're into science, hang out. Breath Church is where we don't need to talk about it all the time. There will be creative sessions. There will be live beats. There'll be live violin because I got one right here. But really what I want to do is tell my story. Really what I want to do is let you know where I've been, what I've done, what it's turned me into, and how I want to share it back with you now. And I want to tell you, if you hurt and you're in pain and it sucks, make art. Grab a piece of paper and start to scribble. It's only art if you call it art. And it's only not art if you say it's not art. If you make it and you like it and it speaks to you from your soul, brings you closer to something higher than you, call it art. If you don't know if you're an artist, hang out here and we'll see. Chances are you are. Chances are you have an expression that's creative, that's miraculous, that's mind blowing, that you don't even know of. So I'm going to walk you through some of the poems in this book. I'm going to share music that I've written. I've written hundreds, maybe thousands of tracks that no one's ever heard. Because I don't create to be famous. I don't create to be rich. I haven't promoted my story. I haven't made or optimized the business end. And my friends are like, please don't die without telling your story. Tomorrow is not promised. Your brother's gone. And so here I am, about to tell my story. Where it started as an artist, how it started as an artist, and where I've been, where I'm headed, where I'm at. I'll be reading poetry. As people remind me of fun stories, I'm going to get on here because I just feel like I need a space to express. I'm going to get on here and we'll have a dialogue. I mean, eventually I'm going to meet some of you. And in the meantime, you can leave comments in the chat. You can ask questions, get down. I'll be here on a regular basis, live, like a lot right now. I can't think of anything better to do than to get on and share how to find a little bit of peace. Make art. Find something bigger than you that allows you to express yourself. Make art. Find peace. The world's ending. Fine. Make art about it. Write a song. Tell someone you love them. Make a phone call. Draw a picture. Make a macaroni card. Some glitter. A little bit of glue. Some pasta. And a piece of paper. This is my macaroni card to the world. I've been around the block. I'm a little tired. But I'm going to slow my roll and I'm going to invite you to join me. We're going to walk around the block together till we decide to change a new direction. We move on to whatever's next. I'm Sage Raider. This is my first YouTube live. I'm practicing. Not that great. Just thought I'd get on here and get excited. I wrote a book. No one's ever heard of it. I'm going to read poems from it. I'm going to tell you stories. I'm going to entertain you. I'm going to make it the most interesting thing I possibly can for you. And then once a month, you can come over to the Source app, also known as the Breath Source. Come to Live Breath Church every second Sunday from 12 to 1. I'll be taking May off. I need to go to my brother's home and clear out his effects and take care of him in absentia. So I'll be doing that. I will not be around for another Breath Church in May, but I'll be back in June. Wherever you are, know that I'm here, know that I care, and I'm excited. And I hope that you find yourself in this story. I hope you get inspired by something you've never heard, and I hope you find the strength to do what you need to do today, to move on to whatever's next in your life from wherever it feels like it hurts. Find peace as the world ends, in your breath, in your art, in something bigger than you. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.